Okay, everyone, so now we're ready to start thinking about functions. A function is basically a piece of code that does something. And you're actually not new to functions. Your main function is a function. And now finally we're going to understand what some of this syntax is all about. But basically, real programs in real life are not these short little programs that we write in class. Real programs are thousands, if not millions of lines of code, and they're typically not written by one person. Typically, like a very large program would be written by teams of people, and the way to do that is to write the program in smaller pieces and then bring all those pieces together in a way that, it's all coordinated. And one way to break up a program into smaller chunks is through functions. So in this program, we have a very simple function. I'm going to have you start, there are variations on this, but I'm just going to have you start with what I would call a 1, 2, 3 approach. This is a 3-step approach to adding a function to your program. So in this program, I've added just a simple little function to print a smiley face, okay? And I've called my function print smiley. So step 1 is to type out what we call a function prototype. And this is like a one-liner, just a quick little line at the top of your program before main that basically lets the compiler know that a function is going to be used in this program. And so you're going to start with what we call the return type. And we're going to talk more about that in later videos. For now, let's just put this concept on hold and we're just going to type void. Void meaning nothing. Meaning this function returns nothing. It doesn't give us anything back. Later, we'll look at functions that give things back. After the return type, we're going to name our function and type the function name. It's a name that you choose. Make it a good one. Make it descriptive. I typically like to use action words or verbs in my function because, again, a function is a piece of code that does something. So the name should describe what the action that function performs. And then you're going to have parentheses. In later videos, we're going to have stuff inside of here. But for now, let's just leave those alone, and we have the empty parentheses. So that's our function prototype for print smiley. That's step 1. Step 2, you're going to scroll to the bottom of your program below main, and you're going to add the function definition. The function definition is the code that performs the action that is supposed to be performed by the function. So in this case, we have the code to print the smiley face. Okay, I also added a code to set the color. So just some syntax notes here. Let's take another look at the prototype. We have a semicolon at the end of the prototype, okay? Now, when I go to the definition, notice there is no semicolon there, so you have to be careful about that. One thing I do is, okay, and now we're at the point where C++ is not a forgiving language. It's really, picky about syntax and things like that. And now you're really going to have to pay attention because everything's got to be perfect. Everything's got to match perfectly. So what I'll typically do after I've written my prototype, I will copy it and I'll paste it down below and get rid of that semicolon, and then I'll throw down a curly brace sandwich and type the definition, because this name has got to match perfectly, and it is case sensitive, to the name that I supplied in the prototype. So you have to be extra careful about getting all the details matching and correct. Okay, so this is the function definition. That's step 2. So now I have this nice function, and I want to run it. I want to print the smiley face. So step 3 is the function call. This is actually supposed to be here. Hang on here, sorry. I'm in main now, and this is the function call. And a function call is it's like you saying, hey, you, run your code. Print smiley, run your code. So you type the function name, and we need parentheses here, even though we're not using them. And obviously cap off the line with a semicolon, and there you have it. So if I run this, I am going to see my smiley face. And there it is.